And welcome in, guys, to kick off the tip-off with Noah engaged. Noah, it's hard to believe, man. West Virginia season kind of winding down. 2 more regular season weeks, and then obviously, if we could squeak out a bowl game or something, that would be pretty crazy. But as we know, we take it 1 week at a time. And this week, another big one, as they all are in conference. Arizona State. Now, a team at the beginning of the year. A lot of hype, a lot of talks about getting back to the college football playoff, some ups and downs in their season, some losses to some teams that are now Big 12 kind of contenders, and we will see in the college football playoff, things like that. And a team that's also kind of been derailed by injuries, but still playing very competitive football, in my opinion. And there also is some makings of this game, Noah, where we could get them in the right spot here and sort of a trap game for us. And let's start with the fact that this game, Noah, is going to be kicking off at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys do the math on that for your West Coast there in Tempe, Arizona. That kind of favors us, Noah. It reminds me of the basketball game last year, which you and I went to, which was obviously a home game for us, 9 o'clock tip-off in the Coliseum, and we came out flat and lost. So I wonder if we can maybe get some good deja vu here on the flip side in football, maybe catch Arizona State sleeping in the early morning there and potentially pull out an upset win, Noah, as a 10.5-point underdog with an over-under sitting at 47.5 points. So kind of a tricky line. You and I were just talking about the 10.5 feels pretty good to play straight up considering how West Virginia has been playing. But at times we have saw when this defense has been exposed, you can run up points in a hurry and if the offense derails and goes flat. So where are your overall kind of aspect on this game? Where are you at with things? And we'll kind of start from there.
Yeah, Gage, I think two big factors here for West Virginia playing Arizona State this week is they don't have Levitt and Tyson was just ruled out. So two of their biggest playmakers coming into the season, obviously we know Cam Scatabo departed, went to the NFL last year. These were their two big returners, and we aren't facing them. They do have Jeffrey Sims playing quarterback for them this week, a very veteran guy. Definitely gets it down, gets it on the ground more than he does through the air. A very efficient runner. And West Virginia struggled with, opposing rushing quarterbacks. It's been kind of a hassle for us. We've kind of, even Hoover, who's one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12, in my belief and your belief, we actually shut him down a little bit better than we did, Bear, Bachmeyer, some of these guys that can rush the football. Parker Navarro will give me nightmares for the rest of my life, I think. But like when you're thinking about what West Virginia does well, and that's kind of on the defensive game, Arizona State kind of is the exact opposite, and they kind of have a strength in running the football right now with Jordan Tyson, and they're not really having a big receiver step up for them. So there's some questions, on the West Virginia side of the football when you look offensively, but that's where Arizona State's strong, and that's why they're still competitive in the league, because defensively they're a pretty solid football team, right? They did lose to Houston a couple weeks ago. I think they beat Iowa State last week, Gage, if I'm correct.
Yep.
But lost to Houston 2 weeks ago in a 26-14 game, right? So Houston was able to maintain them, and I feel like we handled Houston pretty good. But that was, I think, the first week Levitt actually went out with the injury. So they've kind of got things grooving. They understood, kind of switched their offensive philosophy. So there's some differences between what Arizona State was at the beginning of the year because the loss of playmakers, just like West Virginia. Fortunately for them, I don't think their luck is as bad as ours with all of our production, within the first 3 weeks leaving us. They are kind of hitting those late season woes with the injury bug. So will be really interesting. But like you said there, 10.5 points, Gage, West Virginia, 10.5 is a lot of points for a team that's going to struggle offensively to cover, in my opinion.
And a team that's kind of on the uprise, Noah. I mean, West Virginia's been playing some good football here lately, so it's not outrageous to say that. And at the beginning of this video where I was kind of talking about the up and down roller coaster season Arizona State has had, they beat 7th-ranked Texas Tech, caught them at a home game. Morton for Texas Tech was out. They rolled out Will Hammond, who went 22 for 37, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. Levitt and Tyson did play in that game. Both had phenomenal games in there. But they won 26-22. The week previous to that, they got blew out by Utah 42-10, which, let's be honest about something, Utah, I mean, I know that they had, the loss to Texas Tech. I can't remember the other loss off the top of my head, Noah, but they're just a pretty good football team. They're a pretty complete football team, especially for this year's Big 12. Lost to BYU by 3 in that overtime game. Yeah. So, he said you lose Levitt, you lose Tyson. Right there's majority of your offense. So then you ask yourself, okay, well, who is West Virginia game planning for this Saturday, right? Like you said, it's a very veteran quarterback. Not many college football teams have this kind of luxury that Arizona State has, of going to Jeff Sims, who's been in college for a good while here. He spent 3 seasons at Georgia Tech, 1 season at Nebraska, and this is his 2nd season at Arizona State. And like you said, Noah, he gets it done with his legs first off. Last week versus Iowa State, yes, you're going to hear me say this correctly, he ran 29 times for 228 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 8 yards per carry. He also threw for 177 yards with a touchdown and an interception. He's the motor of this offense, right? And it helps when you're able to kind of pair it where they kind of have this bowling ball running back, man. Raleek Brown, 137 carries, 770 yards on the year with 3 touchdowns. He runs hard. No, this is a guy that's hard to bring down, but if you give him the space in the open field, he's able to make a move, make you miss, or just put a shoulder down and run right through you. So I think if Jeff Sims beats you through the air, you can live with it, right? But if you're giving up chunk runs, 5, 6, 7 yards a carry here, it's going to be a long, long day. I think especially without Jordan Tyson being in this game, you kind of have to just push all your chips in the middle and say, hey, we've got to focus on containing this run from the get-go. And if you beat us, they have one playmaker, in my opinion, still available as pass catcher, Shaman Matire. I hope I'm saying that right. He's their tight end, big body receiver. They like to use him in the flat. They like to use him go vertical. They'll use him a ton of different ways. Big red zone threat as well. So, yeah, I just think it's a very, I don't want to say one-dimensional offense, but if you can make it one-dimensional and take away some of that run game, you give yourself a very good chance, in my opinion. You definitely eat into that 10.5-point spread easily if you stop that run.
Yeah, key to the game here, Gage. I think it's as simple as this. West Virginia gets out of this game with more than 2 turnovers, 2 forced turnovers, they'll win this game. And that's where I think they win the game. If they're able to come out in the victory column, it's because they made Arizona State make mistakes, right? Paper to paper right now, looking at the rosters on paper, kind of similar teams. I think Arizona State defensively might have a few more playmakers on the defensive side of the football, but because of injuries, it's kind of equaled out the playing field here for West Virginia. I don't think they're above and beyond what you're going to see whenever we played BYU and Utah, some of these teams that just had, some more talent than us, unfortunately. I think Arizona State is going to come into this game and say, look, we have to stop the run, right? Because we've seen over the past few weeks, it's helped Scotty throw the football because our run game has got started, right? He's able to just drop back, put the ball on the running back's belly, pull it, and Fox or Weimers on a skinny post, and that's 15, 20 yards, and that'll get the offense, that high-tempo offense rolling. I think it's very, very important for West Virginia to sustain some drives early in this game and not let it get away from them. We don't want to play, trailing by, more than a score at any point in this game. Because they're so good on the ground, they can kind of take, a 7-point lead for them can kind of feel like, 10 to 14 points because they're able to control, the tempo of how they want the game played. Very, very interesting matchup here. I don't know if Vegas got it completely right with 10.5. I know we keep on hanging on that, but I mean, 10.5 is a lot of points for a team that's kind of not searching for identity offensively, but just had one good game against Iowa State, who's kind of hurt defensively, in my opinion, right now with the loss of some cornerbacks and stuff.
It kind of reminds me of the spread versus Kansas. You come off the big win versus Pitt. You go out west. In this case, it'd be Central. About a 12.5-point spread that game was, and you got blown out. That's the kind of the feeling I'm getting right here. You win a game at home, and now here you go, out west. And before we kind of get into the keys for what this offense has to do to succeed, right? You're looking at a defense that's 44th in the country nationally, giving up 334 yards, 192 through the air, and 123 on the ground, which is tied 33rd for the best in the country. So it's not going to be easy, man. There's not going to be a lot of room to work with. So where does Rich Rod go, right? I think it's as simple as this. You're going to have to throw the ball to win this game. Okay, I think you're going to have to throw the ball to stay in this game. How do you do that? Well, Rich Rod's going to know way more and way better than I do. But in my opinion, I think that you have to get Scotty Fox adjusted early, right? In this away game, away atmosphere for whatever it's going to be, right? A pretty good fan base out there. But we've got to get him going in the short game. I'd love to see a kind of first drive, first two drives where Scotty Fox is maybe sitting 7 for 10 or 8 for 10, maybe only like 55, 60 passing yards and a touchdown or something, but just easy, simple out routes, flat routes, something to get him in the groove for later in the game when you have to hit that chunk play, when you have to hit that ball in the corner or something like that. He's already in this groove. He's in this rhythm. He's shown he's very capable of being a thrower in conference play in Big 12. I have no doubts about that. I think, especially with the interceptions that we've saw, right, from him in the Pitt game and last week, stuff like that, if you can just get him settled in, he looks so much better and so much more comfortable in the pocket making throws. That's kind of just my honest opinion. And that's kind of all freshman quarterbacks in general, in my opinion. You start bringing a little pressure, a couple sacks, things like that. You start to get a little bit of happy feet outside of the pocket. But we know he's going to be able to use his legs, escape the pocket a little bit, and make plays out of nothing. So I think just finding the sweet spot of getting him in rhythm for later in the game to give yourself a chance to either win the game, just a big opportunity later in the game. Start it from the beginning. So your kind of thoughts on the offensive side of the ball. Do you think that we'll have success running the ball with Hubbard?
So I was actually going a little bit of a different. I think a key point to this game, I think these can both be true at the same time, right? I think you can establish a quick, what I would call a quick passing game, whether it be spot routes, quick outs, even little bubbles out to get the ball to the outside. I think those can be possible, but I think establishing the quarterback run early will be very, very important to West Virginia's, success this game, because that makes Arizona State bring another guy in the box, right? Scotty can make a lot of the throws, but what unfortunately, he's a freshman. He makes some mistakes when there's a lot of guys in coverage because that gives them one extra guy he's got to throw the ball around, right? They can show things. If he's able to hit a couple QB draws early, a couple QB counters for, 10, 15 yards, and they have to bring another guy in the box where he's able to hit a quick slant route, your quick game that you're talking about. If he's able to do those things early, I can just see a lot of success out of West Virginia. I think Arizona State, where they're going to key defensively, though, I feel like they think they're faster, and they might be, on the defensive side of the football where they're able to outrun us to the edges of the football field, the perimeter. If they're able to contain us to one side of the football field where we're kind of not one-dimensional, but, aren't able to get to the outsides to hit those late holes, that will be a problem. So I think hitting something, quick hitters, counters, QB draws, those type of things will be very, very important. And early, in the early downs of this game, so that makes them bring another defender in the box to defend the run, because Scotty is very, very capable runner. And we've seen him take some, make some plays out of nothing.
Yeah, for sure. I think the key defensively is to be athletic, Noah. We've already mentioned, right? You're going to see Jeff Sims, some quarterback runs. Raleek is a pretty good running back. I think kind of this tandem of Fred Perry, Carrico, Chase Wilson, Cutter, Ben Bogle, all these linebackers and kind of safeties that we'll bring down at times. I think it's time to just be an athlete. I think you're going to have major success with that. You always talk about being gap to gap, very fundamental, playing downhill, right? Meeting at the gap. Well, the problem with quarterback, especially option, anything you're going to do, sometimes you get kind of those flat feet, right? You're going to get caught in between, and that's where those big plays happen, whether it's the handoff or the keep with the actual quarterback. I just want to see all of our guys, linebackers, Eddie Kelly. I know the defensive front is going to be fine. Just be aggressive one way or the other, right? If you're wrong, be wrong aggressively. That's kind of the point I'm getting at. And hope that the next guy behind you, right, makes the right read. Because even if you're blowing up this option or the run up the middle early, it's just going to make them very, very, like I said, one-dimensional, man. Once they realize, okay, hey, we're not having a ton of success running the ball up the middle, let's try, the outside zone or something like that. That's not working. Then you get into that pass game, and that's where I feel really comfortable for us to have a chance to win this game. If you have Jeff Sims throwing the ball multiple times and you're catching them in third and long. I think another big thing, and this is kind of a no shit moment or a no shit comment, right? Pressure, sacks, get them behind the chains. That's the quickest way to eliminate the run game, is to get those early down sacks and force them to throw the ball early. Then you get yourself in those 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 8s, and I really like our chances with Zach Allen and things like that. I think this will be a very good chess piece game, both offensively and defensively. We have a ton of respect for their head coach, Dillingham. I think he's a really good coach. So it'd be interesting to see. He's had high praise for Rich Rod too. So I wonder, we'll see if Rich Rod's got something up the sleeve now to potentially squeak one out here. So kind of final thoughts from you, and we'll obviously give our final prediction and kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, Gage, I think you hit it. I mean, I think you hit right on it. You've got to play aggressive. You got to play downhill, especially with a team who wants to, essentially line up and say, look, we're bigger, we're stronger, we're going to run right at you, right? But I don't think there's any better time because I think our linebacker core with Boggle, Carrico, these guys, they are playing very, very good football. Chase Wilson, I mean, there's so many guys that are playing, elite football right now in that linebacking core. I feel very, very comfortable that the run game will be stopped. I think you're exactly right. And then, Fred Perry, he's always, he's headhunting out there. We know that. We've said that since the offseason. He is serious. I really do think I really like your point there. We kind of always hit on it, but especially with the defense that Zach Alley likes to run, it's very important to keep these guys off of their schedule. We don't want them at 2nd and 6. We want them at 2nd and 12. So playing behind the chains at all times.
100%. So I've gone back and forth. The last 2 weeks have been so encouraging for Mountaineer fans. Obviously, the win versus Houston, win versus Colorado. I won't lie. It threw me off seeing this as a double-digit spread. I was expecting kind of around a touchdown, something like that. But honestly, Noah, I still think even if it was a touchdown, West Virginia would cover this. I think my final prediction here, I'm going to lean a lower scoring game. I'm going to go 21-17. I am going to give the slight edge to Arizona State in this, as much as it pains me to say that, because these guys have been playing so well the past 2 weeks. I don't know. There's something about this game that I'm just going to have to watch it and then be able to, I will have a brand new opinion of this game halfway through the first quarter, right? 6 minutes left in the first quarter. I think we'll have a pretty good understanding of who's going to win the game. I really believe that. It's going to take 4 drives, 2 from each, and you'll be able to know everything that you need to know about this game. So with that being said, of course, I'll probably be wrong here. There will be a bajillion points scored, and West Virginia will win, 76-70 and 8 overtimes or something. But I am going to give the slight edge here to the home team, favored by 10. I know Mountaineer fans, don't kill me. We'll see if Noah kind of scavenges the video, I guess. But I am going to lean Arizona State in just a tough one. I think you're going to see a really, really good football game. A lot of heart, a lot of fight from our guys, and absolutely nothing to hang your head on for an away Big 12 game. Cross-country travel as well.
Yeah, Gage. I don't blame you for that prediction at all. This is a year one program defining win for me. This is what builds it right here. You go into Tempe, a team that has been very established. They're on the up and coming, and you go in and set the tone for next year, right? I'm not looking ahead to next week, but I think next week might be that maybe a little bit of that letdown spot to Texas Tech because they're a very talented team.
Honestly, though, not jumping ahead, but it's truthfully not a letdown spot. In all honesty, if Texas Tech walks in there and just dog walks us, I swear to you, it is nothing to be upset about. They are that good. But go ahead.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's West Virginia goes into Tempe, 24-21 game. They win it. They win it late field goal, and then we make a defensive stand. It's just how I feel. I don't know why we've been playing really good. Our strengths are running the football, and they're pretty good at stopping the run. I just think we might have a few more playmakers. I think Cam Vaughn has a game, Gage. Has a game where it's okay, he solidifies that, yes, he is the guy that next year, predicting that he stays, hoping that he stays, he is the guy, right? And that's what I want to see this week. 24-21 dogfight, Gage. A dogfight. And this isn't going to be easy. It's going to come down to just a good game, right? I think like you said with Colorado last week, it was a good game to watch, and I think that's what we're going to get. Another thing to say too, Gage, with your prediction is if we play Arizona State in a one-score football game, that is nothing to hang your hat about.
That's a win. It's a moral win for this year's year one program. It's a moral win. I'm completely with you. I think this is a one possession game either way, and I'll go so far as to say I think it's a one possession game under a touchdown. I think this should be a 3 to 4 point spread. I really do think that. either way, whoever wins, it's going to be well earned. I'll tell you that. There's going to be some pads cracking out there in Arizona. I can guarantee you that. There's going to be two physical defenses, teams trying to run the ball. You're going to see some guys down on the field on the offensive side of the ball. No, that's kind of how I'm feeling in the gist that I'm getting. But like I said, maybe that weird kickoff out west will help us out a little bit. You never know. We saw how it affected college sports last year, college basketball, 9 p.m. tip off, I don't know. Things get weird. Quite literally anything's possible. So, yeah, no, anything else from you?
No, I think this is going to be a game too, Gage. I think Rich Rod's tempo. I think that is going to play a factor in this game. If he's able to get some drives rolling, and I don't know, man. Just big on the Mountaineers right now. Kind of towards the middle of the year, it was rough to get behind them, but man, I just think they're playing really good football at the right time, right? I think
yes, yeah. And it's all about peaking at the right time, right? Well, in our case, we might not be peaking for a potential bowl game. We're not ruling that out yet. All right. I didn't hear no damn bell, Noah. I didn't hear a damn bell. So like I said, somebody in our comment section last video said I'd love to play in the Clorox Bowl. Hell yeah, I'd want to play in the Clorox Bowl. Hell yeah, of course. So yeah, I didn't hear a bell, but yeah. Should be a good one, man. I'm excited to watch it. Like I said, a lot of confidence has been built for this team the past 2 weeks. You win this game, man. Home game, Texas Tech. Anything.
Give us the snow.
Truthfully, anything can happen. I'm just saying. So, guys, we appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Still doing the giveaway at 500 subscribers. Appreciate all the interaction and stuff since we came back. We'll see you in the next.